The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
At Josh Prey created this unsolicited jingle for Popeyes, and we're feeling blessed.
Baby, I want Popeyes. Tell me what you want to eat. I want my sandwich that start with a P.
At Josh Prey from Orlando, Florida, on August 19th at 8:59 p.m. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
You have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
All right, it's Christmas special. Yes, it's going to come out on Christmas. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron. And yeah, this is going to drop right on Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're smoking your Christmas trees. You got the Weedsman. You're welcome.
It's a weird one, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not so much celebrating that it's Christmas this time of year. I'm just celebrating that this year is close to over.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like we should all get... This year was an obstacle course, right? We should get something at the end of it.
I deserve a better prize than $600 at the end of this year. I'll tell you that much.
Gee, thanks, mister. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there that $600 is... I'm sure they're going to be mad too, but they're going to go, well, at least this means I'll have, some like insulin, or the medication that I need, or that I could get something halfway decent for my kids for Christmas. I know it's not coming in time for Christmas, but still, the money's coming.
Yeah.
It could make a difference, but it's like, it's not even a Band-Aid.
No, I can't imagine like anyone who's been a server or a bartender this year. Like, this has been the year from hell. And that first CARES that ran out at the end of July.
Yeah.
July. Which is Christmas.
So you're already you're out of a job. You couldn't pay your rent because you haven't been able to work for months. So you moved back in with your parents. Now you have no bills and no prospects, and you're just waiting for this whole pandemic thing to blow over. So you're likely to just take that $600 and go, let's get a PS5.
Or let's buy $600
what the fuck
worth
else
of
are you going to
weed.
do at this time? Amen. You should. That's what I was going to say. I'm sure a lot of people will need this, but if you are in the position to spend it on frivolous things, please do so. That's what it should be spent on.
Well, that's what they want you to do anyway. They want you to go put it in the economy.
Blow it on weed. That's the economy.
Yeah?
Blow it all on weed. That just also happens to be about right around the number that I owe the federal government. So it's going to go right back to them.
Right?
That's what I owe on my taxes from last year.
There you go. There's a scene in Scrubs where the guy's wife's in the hospital. They had a baby or whatever, and his boss comes to him. He's like, I just wanted to hand you this check so you could hand it right back to me. That's essentially what you'll be doing.
Yeah.
Hey, stimulus. Hey, cool. Well, I owe you this, so here you go.
Yep.
Is yoink an official U.S. government term?
So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't have to be the 1,000th person to tell you that this has been a rough year, but you made it.
Yeah.
This was it was still a good year for cannabis, as much as this was not a good year for many things. This was still a good year for cannabis.
Yeah, alcohol and cannabis companies ain't complaining about 2020.
Yep. Yeah, aside from just sales, marijuana sales have been going through the roof and continue to, and it's only going to escalate the more that people are indoors and their only entertainment is watching TV and sitting on their ass. And on top of everything else that's happened. I mean, we've seen what happened this year. We had 4 or 5 states. 4. I forgot what happened in the election last month.
Right. I think it was 5 because it was like 4 red states and a blue state. It was what? Arizona, Montana, South Dakota, New Jersey, and wasn't there one more? It was
4 recs and a med, wasn't it?
Oh, the med was.
Or were they all rec? Or was it 5 recs and an additional med?
One of the meds was Mississippi.
Yes. Which is where they grow this shit. Like they didn't have medicinal until this year. That's the only place that's legally allowed to grow it according to the federal government.
Well, now maybe they'll start growing better shit for the government.
You should hope so. Because that's another thing. We've seen there are a lot of studies that came out over the last year, most of which were completely pointless because as we know, these are all done with the worst quality weed that is not reflective of what's on the actual market, what people are actually consuming. It's so different that it's like if you wanted to study the effect of a lot of beef consumption on the population, and so you got a bunch of stringy goats, and you had your test subjects eat this, and well, that's close enough. Just have them eat the goat.
Hey, you notice how the vape panic went away?
The vape panic, it
that's how we
came
started the year.
It came and it went, and then it's. I don't know how seriously anybody's taking that stuff. So I don't it keeps wanting to resurge with the virus, right? I keep coming across stories that are like, well, if you vaping linked to increased damage if you have coronavirus, and then other studies are like, well, maybe it'll protect you. Right? Maybe there's nobody knows any of this shit. Nobody has done any long-term studies on. We haven't had the time to do long-term studies on this shit.
that shit was COVID, because you know why? Because there was not a national banning of vitamin E acetate. Because I just read 2 days ago, Oregon just banned vitamin E acetate. A year later. Right, when that's all
really? We
were talking about a year ago. Oh my God, it's vitamin E acetate. That's what's doing it. I'm really starting to think a lot of that stuff was maybe some COVID that found its way over here earlier than we thought.
But, time is a flat circle, but it seems like this was around spring of last year when we saw these stories that ended up being linked to vitamin E acetate, wasn't it?
No, it all started in late summer. It started around like August, September is
so maybe,
when all that shit started.
That would be a little earlier than I don't know. Because we didn't even start talking about this until February. I mean, we know there were cases prior to that, but
no. It was all the end of last year. It was, remember, everything got pulled. Remember, it was hard to find cartridges because they all had to be tested.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the overlap between COVID and the vitamin E acetate and all that.
Yeah.
You might have something there, but I don't know.
I remember COVID was in the news in January, but it was like, hey, there's this thing going on in China.
Yes.
And it just each week it kept it kept getting louder. Like, hey, there's this thing in China. Hey, there's this thing in China. Hey, there's this, And then what was that? At the end of February, Trump shut down the flights to China.
Yeah. Well, I think that with the vitamin E acetate shit, they don't know for sure if that was the cause of these lung problems that they were seeing. They know for sure that it shouldn't be something that you're putting into the vapes, though.
Yeah.
So at least that's as far as I could get from it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to come out pro vitamin E acetate here.
No, but I hear you.
It seemed like, we had the vaping panic, and then COVID showed up, and then all of a sudden you're not hearing about the vaping panic anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. I actually wrote down some notes here. What else happened this year? Oh, yeah, the MORE Act passed. They've been talking about this for, it seems like at least 2 now that they've had this in the hopper, if not more, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
it's
still, I haven't heard any updates on whether that's going to actually hit the president's desk for him to sign anytime soon.
They're going to wait till the blue tie checks in. That's my theory.
Yeah, and McConnell's been silent on it as well because it's passed in the House. They haven't had a vote on it in the Senate.
Well, they've been stimulus focused.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of volatility in the market, really all over the place. I'm sure people are experiencing this. There's more established markets like what's happened in Colorado and other early adopters that probably have a lot of the wrinkles ironed out of their system. And do you think that would be the case for somebody like Michigan, who was an early adopter of the medicinal program, but they let it rot on a vine for a decade, and then finally when it looked like recreational was inevitable, they said, well, we better get our medicinal program in order first before we start expanding into recreational. So
it's like a security guard going, all right, I'll get up.
Yeah, better start taking this job seriously.
Yeah.
So it was around, it was like the end of last year, right, when we initially started seeing the first interruption, right? You had your medicinal card, and wasn't it around like fall or early winter of 2019 when, what was it first? The flowers started drying up. Right?
Yeah, those were, that was when I remember there was one show I had to go around to like 4 places to find flour for a show. Yeah, that was.
How far into 2020 did it take to even out and get back to like regular supply of, you could pretty much go in and get exactly what you wanted at a reasonable price?
Last year, the cartridges disappeared around Thanksgiving and they showed up again around Christmas. So it was a rough December last year.
Yeah. But other than that, it's been smooth for all of this year?
Oh, yeah, because there hasn't been, because once it was just, the state added a new step, right? You had to get everything lab tested before you could ship it to dispensaries.
Yeah.
So it took a month for all these companies to pull all their product, get everything tested, and then get everything back into dispensaries.
Well,
yeah, as far as for me, there's been I know you said things at times, at the dispensaries you go to that, sometimes you can't be choosy. Sometimes it's like, we have this and you get this. The medical, I have never, like I said, other than the winter last year and then the winter before that, like, other than that, 2020, it's been, I've been introduced to things like curbside.
Yeah.
Just order it online. It's the year I finally also stopped thinking that people delivering were sketchy and let people bring shit to my house.
Yep. I've had no issues with any of the people that have delivered weed to my house. They're all good people. They didn't seem sketchy at all. But yeah, it's been a very volatile market on the recreational side. Supply and pricing is up and down constantly. Flower seems to be steadying out, but it's not as popular. It doesn't seem like as much of a priority for a lot of the places that are around me. They're way more interested in pushing concentrates and edibles.
Probably what the demand's for. My guess is maybe the profit margin's a little better.
Yeah. Well, there's another factor too, is if you could buy 100 carts and if you don't sell them right away, they're good on the shelf there until somebody buys those. If you buy, a pound of swag and nobody wants it, that thing's going to fucking start getting moldy and going bad and getting dried out, and then nobody's really going to want it.
Although, hey, dispensaries, if you can hear me, order the right way when you're ordering your cartridges. Nobody likes opening up a fucking cartridge and seeing a quarter of it's already gone because you've had it for a while and it started evaporating.
Oh, that's a good point. That does happen.
Pro tip, dispensaries. Yeah, I had one last week where I opened it on Tuesday. By Friday, I needed another one because it was like a third of the way fucking gone when I opened it.
I always check them right away.
Well, the places I go, they don't give a shit. They'll tell you like that happens. Like that.
Yeah.
They don't switch it out. They just go, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Hey, you want to buy another?
Well, no, they make sure they have the one place they make sure they have signage up that lets you know, like, hey, sometimes stuff's going to evaporate out of these things when they sit on the shelf.
Yep.
FYI.
Well, I'm so done with the cartridges, man. And I don't know what's going on with the market right now because cartridges just started to disappear. I was using them for a while too, same as you. And then they started going up in price, and then the selection dropped, and then they all but disappeared. And like I was saying a couple weeks ago, a half gram cart was $65 for a half gram.
God damn.
So that's ridiculous. That's not a sustainable price.
If I spend $65, I better be getting 2. Those are the prices I'm used to paying.
Well, even then, I mean, then you're just getting you're paying less than $65 for a whole gram.
Oh, wow.
This is like,
no, fuck. Oh, yeah, that's right. You said half gram.
Yeah, this is like 3 times what you're paying.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
So that's when I decided to go the not cart-based concentrates, just because it was cheaper, because I had more control over it, and whatever so the 2 places that are closest to me, one of them started getting full gram carts for $50. I'm like, well, that's a good price again. That's a reasonable price, and their butters and waxes were a little more expensive. And meanwhile, the other place that I get it from, they still had like I was saying, $65 for a half gram for the carts. So I was like, well, let me see what one of these $50 carts are like, because I mean, if that's my option, if the waxes are going to continue to go up in price, which they have been, then I may as well go back to the carts. So I got a cart, and it had some weird flavor in it. Had like kind of a cinnamony aftertaste to it, and
I would get not weed flavored. Just give me weed flavored.
Yeah, completely pointless with the flavorings. It makes me cough all the time, and that's why I had to I've been hitting this thing while we've been doing the show, and my throat feels raw right now. And the one that I got is just constantly clogging.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Yeah, and every now and then you get a bum cartridge, and yeah.
I'm used to that happening when you get towards the end of it. Mm-hmm. But this was like from the start.
I had one of those recently. I hate that so much. It's such a pain in the ass.
I was sucking this thing off so fucking hard, man. Like I was being paid. And
how do I not have a That's What She Said drop?
Yeah. And I did eventually clear it, and it was so weird. It had like all this goopy, like waxy consistency. It wasn't runny like the liquid. I mean, it's a little bit thicker. It doesn't slosh around in there. But this was like thick, like you get in the waxy concentrates. And it was sticking out of the end of it. Like I had sucked that out of the cartridge. It was protruding a good like quarter of an inch from the edge of the end of the cartridge. This little fucking wax dong of shit that I like cut off and threw into my other concentrate vaporizer, and it went up just fine. But I have to suck one of those things out of it in order to use it.
Yeah, I've had that happen before where you suck so hard, some of it comes up through the mouthpiece.
Yeah, but it wasn't just like a little bit of it like came up and got in my mouth. Like I full on, it was like I was blowing glass in reverse. You know, they take the tube, they get the ball of glass on the end of it, and they blow into it and it bubbles up. It was like that, but I was sucking it into my mouth instead of blowing it out.
Yeah, it's never fun when that happens.
It's a fucking pain. So I don't know. We'll see what happens next year. Concentrates. I mean, I have my preferences, but I'm also Scottish. And I'm going to go with whatever the cheapest option is.
I found a new spot, and it's cheaper. It's closer.
So is this place doing recreational or medicinal or just medicinal?
Let me look.
Because I think like any of the places that are opening up, that are expanding in the recreational market, are just automatically going to be doing medicinal as well, right?
I know.
I don't know that I've seen anybody.
I think it might just be medicinal because...
Okay, that's interesting.
It's only got one door, right? Aren't you saying the law in Michigan is you got to have 2 separate places for it? Yeah, it's only medical. So...
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, it's far closer. Well, not far closer. It's a few miles closer. It's not on the edge of a shit neighborhood like the other one that I go to, because the other one is right inside the city of Detroit. And the city of Detroit says you can only have a dispensary in an industrial zone. So that makes for fun drives.
Yeah, fun parking.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, this place does have, they have security. But that's the thing, is this new place doesn't, because they don't fucking need it. They don't need security in their parking lot. They don't have someone hitting you up with a metal detector and you're walking in. There's 2 women sitting at a desk, because it's in Centerline, because it's not in Detroit.
Right.
And you walk in, and they got to hand it to this place. I mean, from the outside to the inside, they realize a nice, clean presentation is half the battle. Everything's clean, stocked, doesn't smell weird in there.
That's what I have yet to see.
I got called sir the whole time.
The places that I've been to, that I've seen around here, they have the look of a clean head shop, meaning no real aesthetic outside of, some tie-dyed stuff and some beads or something. Just a real generic space. No flow, no design, no idea of an image that they want to present. They're like, here's a space that we can get where if we sell weed, people will come and buy it. That's the extent of it.
No, when I got
fucking drop ceilings, whatever. But at some point, you're gonna have some real competition. Somebody's gonna have a reasonable price and a nice place you can go to that you feel welcome at. And that they keep their fucking mask on their face. What's the point of I walk in and the woman greets me and she's got a mask on her chin.
The chin diaper?
What is the point?
Yeah. It's not how it works. No, trust me. No, it's those assholes out there who want to be like, well, I'm wearing a mask. No, there's a mask on your head. Technically, yes, you are wearing it. If you are wearing it improperly.
Yeah.
But no, it's those assholes that always
I tried to get them out to bring it out to me, because they do curbside for the cars. And when they were closed, when their lobby was closed, I could walk up there or take my bike and they just bring it out to me. And so I was waiting outside and the dude's like, what are you waiting on? Are you waiting on somebody? I'm like, I placed an order online. I wanted to see if somebody could bring it out. No, you got to go in. I have to go in? Yeah, you have to go in. I'm like, but you got people running it out to these cars here. Yeah, but you don't have a car. Oh, what?
I live close enough to walk. I walked here.
Look, I realize I'm probably not exposing, and the guy's like, well, everybody has a mask in there, which I told you, yeah. They have a mask, they're just not wearing it. And you're probably right. I'm probably not going to be exposed if I go, but why do I have to take that risk? When you have people running it right past me. I'm standing there. People are walking past me, walking to cars, giving them their order, and then walking back into the building. And I'm just asking that you do that for me. It's not like I'm going to drive. It's not like they don't have an actual drive-through where you have to pull around and they have a window and all that. I can understand if I am walking in between a line of cars.
I used to run a restaurant that had a drive-through, and people try to walk up, and it's for your safety. Why? Is it because somebody comes around that corner and smashes into you?
Yes, but this wasn't the case. There's a separate lot that you go and park in, and they bring it out to you, and there's people standing at the perimeter of that lot to watch over it, and that's usually where I stand, and they bring it out to me, and it wasn't dangerous. I'm not in a lane. I'm not anywhere. I'm on a fucking median where no cars are driving. Anyway, I don't mean to bitch about my
service is dead.
But it was a little disheartening. I walked up there because it had snow. I placed the order and I was like, I'll just ride my bike up there. And then it snowed and I was like, fuck that. I guess I'll walk. And it was like an hour to walk there. And I was like, fuck this noise. All that to get a shitty cart that only half works and to be treated like garbage. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot more. 2021 is going to be more of the experience. We're going to actually see some of these things that we get to see in the news stories about this place is opening up in fucking Vegas and out in LA and in Colorado, where they just make a decision about what kind of wood do we want to have here? What kind of surfaces? What do we want to present? They're at least just making decisions and not going, we got some glass cases and some drop ceiling and some fluorescent lighting. Let's go.
No, trust me. I bet when I got this place a couple years ago, I went to a place like that. I was like, I wanted to be like, you are giving the impression that you are guys that used to be on the corner and now you're renting the space.
Yes. The total
the impression
fly-by-night operations. That's what they look like.
Yeah. No, and I've been to out in Vegas. Been to MedMen.
Yep.
You know, all of their. I don't know if you've read up on them, all their financial shenanigans aside.
Yes.
They build themselves as the Apple store for cannabis, and that is essentially that is the experience I had. You know, nice, clean presentation, everything in there nice and neat, a lot of white. You know, a lot of touch screens. You know, everything displayed like it was. Yeah, it's all about the experience, and I told my wife that's how I've been doing this I've had my card now since 2014. That is how I pick a dispensary, somewhere where I feel comfortable, where the people seem knowledgeable, where when I go there I don't feel like I'm around a whole bunch of sketchy motherfuckers, or I'm not in a sketchy neighbor. I used to have one in Grosse Pointe when you still lived here. That was great.
Yeah,
but that got shut down. But yeah, so I won't. Yeah, where it feels like you don't need floodlighting and security in the parking lot. You know, it's great. They're called Clinic. They're in Centerline. They got other locations. So, yeah, looking forward to giving them more and more of my money.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of places around here that are going to have to step up their game or they're going to get edged out.
And they're right on the service drive for $6.96. Like, it's like turn out of the parking lot, boom, freeway. Immediately. It's awesome. Location.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But they do what other dispensaries... Have you had... I'm sure you probably have. It's one price online and then it's another price in the store. Now, for me, I've had the good experience.
Well, they're not good about pre-calculating tax for you, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, I use Weed Maps, and Weed Maps does that.
Yeah.
But for example, like it says... Platinum vapes, $40 online. Go in store, they're like, yeah, they're only $30. We usually sell them for $30. I'm like, well, online it says $40. Like, oh, we sell them for $30. All right. Not picking on them. I've had that experience with plenty of other dispensaries.
I have not had that experience at all. Most cases, it's every purchase that I've made has either been what I thought it was or more. I have never been pleasantly surprised by the amount I paid for weed in 2020. That did not happen, and it will not happen in the week that we have left. I hope to have that happen in the future. That is my hopes for the market, that I go, oh, hey, I just got a bunch of weed, and it was only blank.
Hey, someone's going to end up being the Starbucks of weed. And I'm not talking about dispensaries. I'm talking about...
And I hope that happens. You know why?
Someone's going to be like the cultivator extraordinaire.
If we have a Starbucks of weed, that means we have a healthy weed market. That means I will have choices and I can boycott that Starbucks of weed because it'll be overpriced and ridiculous and always a line. Why the line?
Someone will write something on your bag.
Right. And they make you roll your own joints.
And it'll go
like
viral.
It's supposed to be like it's an experience. Like, just do it already. Just make it like I want it.
I've rolled enough joints in my day. Just sell me the stuff ready to smoke.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir?
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Shop casual and luxe essentials at Macy's one-day sale. Going on now with deals of the day like 40 to 50% off stylish looks for him and her. Discover dazzling fine jewelry 45 to 70% off. And refresh your beauty routine with 25 to 50% off select fragrances and cosmetics. Plus, get your online orders fast with contact-free curbside pickup, or you can pick them up inside the store. For details, visit Macys.com. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
At Dumb Cats created this unsolicited jingle for Popeyes, and it got us dancing.
Chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, I want my chicken sandwiches. I went to Popeyes cause I needed chicken sandwiches. I read on Twitter that it has lots of advantages.
At Dumb Cats from Los Angeles, California, on August 25th at 3:55 p.m. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
So what else? This is going to be the last episode of the year, right? Because the next one will fall on January 1. So this is our last opportunity to wrap up the year while still inside of it.
It's Christmas and year-end wrap-up all at once.
So I did actually make some top 10 lists.
Oh, like fucking Letterman and shit?
I like doing it. They're fun. You know, I haven't done this in a while. This is something that I used to do when I was younger. More so about music. When I was more up on current music, I would get together with friends or share, like, you know, what were your favorite albums of the year. I've worked at some record stores, and you have the opportunity to throw up, you know, your top 10 or your top 5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, I just can't do it with music anymore because I can't keep up with current music. I don't hear enough of stuff that interests me. It's not that I've completely checked out of new music, but what usually happens is at the end of the year, everyone puts out their top list of music for that year, and I comb through it and see if there's anything worth listening to. That's essentially what I've been doing for the last decade.
Well, you have 2 teenagers too. You should be more plugged in than the average middle-aged guy, because you at least have conduits to youth culture.
My oldest keeps their music choices very close to their chest. It's
like shitty music.
I've been told that they listen to a lot of like classic rock and stuff from my ex tells me, but when I ask them, hey, what you listening to? They're like, why?
Nothing.
What's it to you?
It's like that.
Yeah.
Huh?
The younger child,
who wants to know?
They are more like, they'll talk to me about music, but they're always like, oh, you don't know him, you know, like. And I'm like, you'd be surprised. I mean, usually they're right, but I'm like, you'd be surprised what I know. So, and we actually do have, I probably have more musical overlap with, my youngest likes the Shins. That's one of their favorite bands. So I'm like, well, I did something right.
Hey, there you go. Dude, trust me, when my 19-year-old sister-in-law stayed with us a few weeks over the summer, Mandy and I that's the week we were both like, all right, any illusions that we are still young, gone, done, over. Like, just some of the shit she was saying and doing and listening to, we were like, what the fuck is this? Like, it is to the point now they could be making up artist names. And I'd be like, sure, that's a thing.
Yes. Yep. Well, Lord of the Rings turned 20. Like,
whoa,
the movies. So if that's just your little, if you want to feel old moment for the day.
Damn.
So, although, those movies span, it was like 6 years over the course of the time that they came out. So it was 20 years from when they started. So anyway. But speaking of movies, that's another one where I used to have favorite movies of the year. And now I look at other people's favorite movies of the year and I go, I don't think anybody's seen any of these. It's not just me. Like, so few people are seeing. And I'm not saying they're bad movies. I mean, some of them are. Actually, I don't know. Some of it is just dog shit.
Oh, there's some of
I see Green Book wasn't total dog shit, but I was like, this is the fucking movie that everyone was losing their minds over.
What movie?
Green Book.
Dude,
that movie was dumb. It's like an after-school special.
The other hallmark of this year that I could tell you, with both me and my wife, is we can now tell when somebody younger than us has written something, whether it's like jokes on a program or like top 10 lists. Like you're talking about, like reading something on the inner list or read some list on the internet, some year-end list because it's also been coming out for the last couple of weeks. Okay, yeah.
I like inner list though. That's what they should just call it now.
Like, okay, a 21-year-old.
Look it up on the inner list.
Like, oh, a 21-year-old wrote this. Like,
yeah.
What? I said it to you guys in a regimented chat. Somebody wrote an article like, oh my God, the person who played Moira is the mom in Home Alone. I'm like, no shit. 22-year-old? Yeah. It's Catherine O'Hara. Yeah, she had a career before fucking 6 years ago.
Right. And one of the most, I don't want this sounds like an insult, but she's one of the most unique people in Hollywood.
Rich was like, yeah, I heard she's in Beetlejuice too. It's crazy.
Right, yeah. Like she's not somebody who disappears into a role, right? We're not talking about fucking Meryl Streep over here.
But dude, she's a very recognizable
she's a big name and she's pretty easily recognizable.
Yeah. She got those big crazy eyes.
Right. She's got right. She's got a unique, she's not a traditional beauty. I don't think that, I'm not saying she's ugly by any stretch. She just doesn't have, she relies more on her chops and her insane comedic chops than she does just being, a pretty actress.
I'll tell the writer of this article, in the 90s, she had playing moms fucking on lock for like a decade.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this year I could tell when people younger than me are starting to come up with things. Like it's like,
and this year is one of the worst where like I was just looking at people's lists and I'm like, I ain't seen none of this shit. And I'm trying to be better. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. I've burned through a lot of the TV shows and stuff that I had lined up, and I'm realizing that there's a lot of movies, a lot of great movies that I've missed. I mean, even stuff that like went under the radar almost. When was this? I think Killing Them Softly was like 5 or 6 years ago. The Brad Pitt movie where he plays a hitman. It was a pretty quiet movie. It was really good. I really enjoyed that one, actually.
Did you see Barack Obama's list so you can know so you can impress all your liberal friends?
Right. Yeah. I looked at Barack Obama's list and I was like, he's got really good taste in television, and I'd never seen any of these movies.
Well, he's got a movie on his list that ain't even out yet.
Which one?
Showing his privilege. He's got that Pixar, Disney, he's got that Soul movie on there. Like, that movie didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it come out like today or like this week?
Well, I think he's got that and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which just came out on Netflix like yesterday or the day before. And his list came out like a week or two ago.
Presidential privilege? Get stuff earlier?
I did. I watched the Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and that is an amazing movie.
Is that about Detroit?
No.
Wasn't there a Black Bottom neighborhood in Detroit?
No. So Black Bottom was the name of a song that she did. That was about it's one of these sexual innuendo songs. You're going to see Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, big old bottom. Black Bottom. I don't know. I just can't say enough great things about that. All the hype is real. Like, It's just a brilliant script. And you could tell right away. I didn't know anything about it. But as soon as the dialogue starts, I was like, oh, this is based on a play. Because it's very small. They go into a studio. It's got 2 rooms. The main studio room and the rehearsal room downstairs. And there's a little bit of action that happens out on the street.
So minimal sets.
And that's it. Right. Real minimal set, tight cast. Everybody is great. Everybody in this is just a phenomenal. And it's, I had to like kind of trick myself into thinking that, I mean, I didn't have to really trick myself. It was easy to watch, what's his name that passed away? Black Panther.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, sorry. It was easy to watch Chadwick Boseman and get totally lost in his character. I mean, he's just one of those, he is one of those actors that disappears in his role, right? But it was still kind of rough, like, because he carries a lot. I shouldn't say he carries a movie, because everybody is pulling their weight. But he's got the, like, big monologues in it that really strike home, and it's really sad that, I mean, it's not sad that we got this performance from him and that it'll live on. It's just sad that was his last, because
that's right. That happened this year.
Talent.
That was this year.
And you know, I'm not like some big fan of Chadwick Boseman. I was just like a big Marvel fan, and I was like, oh, that guy seems good, and he was really good in it. He kind of made the movie something more than just a superhero movie. He brought a real gravitas to that role that it needed. But seeing him do a role with some actual meat on the bone, oh my God, it's fucking devastating. Just devastating. Viola Davis also just completely dipped into that role. You know,
she's just a good actress.
Is she ever? And you know, this was based on a real character. You know, Ma Rainey was a singer. These are real songs that they're doing and everything. I have no idea. I mean, they got the look right. I don't know if she got anywhere close to the real person, but she did transform into an entirely different and completely believable character. Who else was in there? Coleman Domingo, who a lot of people know from. He's got a great role on Fear the Walking Dead. I know I've seen him in some other stuff too. Glenn Turman, who was in the last season of Fargo. He was, what was his name? Did you watch any of that? The Chris Rock season?
We watched like the first 2 episodes.
He had the older guy, Chris Rock's right-hand man, the older guy that they called like the general or the captain or the something or other.
Apparently, it is a play. It's a play by August Wilson.
Yeah, so I didn't know it was a play going into it, but I figured it out pretty early on because you can tell. And again, and that's not a knock either. It's just really good, you know, tight and precise dialogue. They've got this great rapport, especially the band. The way the band banters back and forth is like perfect and natural, but you know that the language is precise. Like, hey, you know, you said here and it's actually in the script, so I'm gonna need you to stick to the Like, I'm sure there were conversations like that happening on the set. And also just, I mean, it's great production values. It's a period piece that never shows any seams. It's totally immersive, and the music's great.
And might check it out.
It's an hour and a half. It's just
it's jazz music, right?
Yeah, it's jazz. But this is 1920 or so. I think it takes place 1927 in Chicago. So it's early jazz, and Chadwick is playing this character that is on that precipice. Like he's the guy who wants to get out front and run up and down the scales with his horn, and everyone's like, just fucking play your part. So he's kind of seeing where
he's trying to
he's showboating because he sees where jazz is going. Jazz isn't there yet. Jazz isn't bebop and it isn't everything that it all the different varieties that it turned out to be. Jazz was just the popular music of the time. It was blues music with the band so that white people could dance to it.
He's trying to do the AI trumpet solo.
Yeah.
The infinite AI trumpet solo.
So yeah, highly, highly recommend Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I thought there was something else that I want. Oh, I saw Tenet.
Is that any good?
Tenet is great. Well, I mean, great. It's great. It's great fun, I should say. It's a great experience. It's not a great movie. I guess it's right up there with a lot of other of Christopher Nolan's good, great fun movies like Interstellar and what was the Inception. You know, it's got a lot of big ideas that I like. It has a lot of, I mean, the way that they use the time effects in the fight scenes, it's well worth watching. It's so much fun. It's definitely weird. And the thing about the movie is I watched it with the script in front of me. I found the script online.
What?
Because I wanted to really understand what they were talking about. And the problem is that half the people in this movie are mumblers, and they seem to be going, Christopher Nolan seems to be going for a naturalistic experience to the dialogue. It's like you're overhearing the conversations, right? You're not in the conversation. And it's almost like all the music and the sound effects are kind of even burying the dialogue at times. And it's frustrating. And for some reason, the subtitles wouldn't work on the copy that I got. I played it on my PlayStation and didn't seem to agree with it. So I just busted out the script and I was like, okay, pause scene. What the fuck did they just say?
Yeah.
But my recommendation would not be to watch it like that because it's a long enough movie as it is. Just know
how long is
2.5 hours. I mean, if you just understand that they're playing with time and that they do it by putting objects and people through this turnstile that basically reverses their flow, that's all you really need to know. And other than that, it's just a really good, fun action movie. And it is good fun. I think it is a little bit longer than it should be, but I've seen worse.
No, 2.5 though. Ooh, that could be tough.
Well, I'd break it up. Like the first hour, I'd watch the first hour and a half and then take a break and come back the next day and watch the last hour. I know Chris Nolan would probably have an aneurysm hearing me say that.
Yeah, he loves.
Yeah. What you should do is watch Tenet 15 minutes at a time on your phone while you're taking a shit.
He's Mr. Fancy Film.
Yeah. So, I was going to talk about my top 10 list, but I started with explaining why I don't have one for music or movies because I don't follow them closely enough to actually curate a list. But I do watch enough television to safely say that I've come up with my definitive top 10 list of television for 2020.
Oh, boy.
And I think I did number it. So we'll start going from number 10 backwards. We've got Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country was a very fun, very uneven show. Much like Tenet and a lot of Chris Nolan movies. Had some big ideas. Executed some of those ideas wonderfully. Others not so much. There were, like the ghost house, the haunted house episode, I almost didn't finish watching. Whereas I think the second to last episode was the one where the one where they travel to all the alternate dimensions. I thought that episode was lovely and moving and some of the best television that I've seen. Honestly. But overall, comes in just at the end of the list at number 10 because, like I said, it was very uneven.
Like what? Didn't know what it wanted to be?
Well, it was a semi-anthology show, right? So it had main characters that it was following throughout the season, but it wanted to kind of encapsulate each episode to be its own thing. So this episode is going to be about being possessed, and this episode is going to be about vampires, and this episode is going to be about Frankenstein and body transformation. This one's going to be about time travel. So they wanted to take like a Twilight Zone type of theme where you can have, a different concept each week, but tie it all together with characters. So it was bad for good reasons when it was bad. It was bad because they might have been overreaching a little bit, and they were trying to do something that hadn't really been done before. And when you do that, you're going to be really successful in some areas, and sometimes you're going to fail in others. Experiment and enjoyable and well worth watching. Out of number 9, my number 9 pick is The Outsiders. One of many.
Stay Gold, Pony Boy, those Outsiders?
Yeah. No, this was the one that was on Hulu. One of many Stephen King projects that we've seen come out in recent years. It's like it's the 80s all over again. Stephen King's big again. The Outsiders is it's not traditional Stephen King horror. It's a little darker. It's a little more, it's basically a police procedural with horror elements. And Ben Mendelsohn is great in it. I'm a big fan of his, and it's got a great cast, but he by far outshines all of it. And some legitimately kind of scary, intense TV, which is not always easy to hit. There's a lot of that out there that people are like, oh, you got to see this show. And I'm like, really? This is nothing that I haven't seen in The Exorcist from 19, whatever the fuck that was. All these like haunted house shows and the American Horror Story shit and the haunting of this and that, they're all garbage. And look, I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. If you're into that, and there's stuff that I watch that I know is garbage, but I'm like, hey, I'm just into superhero shit and this is a fun show. So, I mean, that's fine. But those shows to me are just unwatchable.
Hey, I'm not a horror guy, so you're preaching to the choir over here.
Yeah. At number 8, I've got Watchmen. That was another show that's very similar to Lovecraft Country in that it was trying to do some more radical things that it wasn't always nailing. But also story-wise, it was very traditional, honestly. People were looking at it like, I can't believe what they're doing in this show. But when you really look at the whole story that they're telling, it was almost exactly the original Watchmen story.
Really?
Yeah. The Watchmen story is the supervillain basically decides that he needs to kind of jumpstart the world, right? We're in a rut. We're in a nosedive, and we're just going to keep fucking and making people until we are spilling off this planet. And so he's going to solve that by having some great tragedy that brings people together. And that's going to be dropping in, a telekinetic alien squid right in the middle of Times Square. And something similar events happen in this. It's a story about unchecked power. That's what Watchmen ultimately is about. Yeah. And it's kind of obvious from its title, mm-hmm. And the famous line, who watches the Watchmen? Where was I? So that was number 8. Oh, here we go. Number 7, another HBO Max original, The Flight Attendant.
Wow, really, huh?
If you haven't seen The Flight Attendant, man, it is a great show. It is so much fun. Kaylee Coco, whatever her name is so much fun to watch. It has lots of great twists and turns. It keeps interesting. It doesn't quite stick the landing, but I don't know what type of whodunit ever does. At some point it's got to be the butler or something, but it does it with enough fun and enough grace. I was like, yeah, I'd watch that again. And they managed to they take a kind of ridiculous concept and they make it work, and they set it up for future seasons. And I hear it's been renewed for 2 more, and I'm really looking forward to it. Number 6, The Boys, not as strong as season 1, but still really enjoyable. I was a little unsure about it going into it. The first few episodes, I was like, well, what are they going to do? What they seem to throw everything they could at the wall in that first season, and it's like, did they blow their load? Is there nothing left in the chamber? And it turns out there was quite a lot that they could scrape from the bottom of that chamber and still present as entertaining. And they managed to pull out a season that built well on the original and up the ante. So this was kind of the telling season for this show. Does The Boys does it really have legs? Or was it just sensational because it was, you've never seen somebody like Superman, laser somebody's head off before.
Dick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, was it just kitsch factor, or are they really going to be able to sustain a story for multiple seasons? And the latter turns out to be the case, and we're going to see more Boys, and I'm looking forward to that.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
New extra charge hot and iced coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charge coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
At Dumbcats created this unsolicited jingle for Popeyes, and it got us dancing.
Chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. I want my chicken sandwiches. I went to Popeyes because I needed chicken sandwiches. I read on Twitter that it has lots of advantages.
At Dumbcats from Los Angeles, California, on August 25th at 3:55 p.m. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020, underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
At Dumbcats created this unsolicited jingle for Popeyes, and it got us dancing.
Chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. I want my chicken sandwiches. I went to Popeyes because I needed chicken sandwiches. I read on Twitter that it has lots of advantages.
At Dumbcats from Los Angeles, California, on August 25th at 3:55 p.m. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Where are we at now? Number 5, The Good Place, wrapped up this year. What a phenomenal show. What a beautiful ending. It's so hard to end a show, right? And do it well in a satisfying way. And I just think that this show nailed it. Over the course of the few seasons that we had of this brilliant show, there's not a dud amongst them. There's not a bad episode. There's not like, you could skip over the first couple of episodes of The Good Place. Like, you got to watch it all, and it's all worth watching. And again, that ending is just chef's kiss.
Yeah, that is one we tried. We couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's just it strikes that target perfectly for some people and goes off the mark with others. It's got a quirky sense of humor that's not gonna that not everybody's going to be attracted to.
See, for us, it wasn't even like the sense of humor was okay because it's like it's the same guy that did Parks and Rec, which same people did The Office, all that. It was it was the premise that we were like, it's like if you believe in the afterlife, or we're both very not religious, but I guess too, you're not religious either. But I guess like for us, it's just like, oh, whatever. This is
right.
This is about like what happens after you're dead, which we both just think you're worm food. Like
right, and that's why I didn't watch it for so long. It was out for a full year, and I was like, why would I ever watch that show? It's about heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally did, I realized, oh, it's not really. Like, the show's not about heaven. The show's really just about philosophy. It's about how man copes with his own mortality, how we try and make meaning of both life and death. So anyway,
I can understand that.
And this is one of those shows that I'm going to go back and watch it. And, a few years after that, I'm going to think, I haven't watched Good Place in a while, and I'm going to go watch it again. And I'm going to get something else out of it. Number 4 on my list, Raised by Wolves, another HBO Max. Now, and I've talked a lot about this app. I have to say, their programming has been phenomenal. I mean, forget all this judging the app just based on its user interface. If it don't have content, it ain't no good to me. And HBO Max has had the content. Ridley Scott's project is bold, it's brave, it's stunning to look at. The whole season is really just a setup for a bigger story that I hope that they get to tell, and I'm just in it. I mean, this is immersive science fiction with high concepts that we haven't really seen this on television before. This is stuff that I was hoping for, this type of real, interesting, and intelligent entertainment from shows like Westworld that I just never got there. There's a lot of science fiction that's hit the mark visually that has completely failed on the concepts. And that's what science fiction is all about. You're going to draw me in with the visuals. You show me cool robots and spaceships. I want to see your cool robots and spaceships. But I ain't going to watch them for 2 hours if there's no interesting ideas there.
It's got to be compelling. It's got to keep you interested.
Yes, and Raised by Wolves does that. Number 3, Ted Lasso. I wish he was my dad. I wish that Ted Lasso could be president. I think that he is a role model for this country. Should be, at least. He's just a brilliant character, an amazing performance from Sudeikis, a great comedy. There's not a lot of comedies that made it into. I haven't really had a lot of comedies that I clicked with. Good Place isn't. I mean, it's a funny fucking show, but it's not a traditional comedy. I don't put it clearly in the. Certainly wouldn't put it in the sitcom category. And Ted Lasso fits more in that sitcom category. But it does it so gracefully, so beautifully. This show is so, it's got the feel-good charm of what we used to get in like 90s rom-coms. They're not earth-moving. They're not talking about life and death and philosophy and all that. But they do set a good example, and they're fun to watch. And it's just good, feel-good television, man.
I got to check it out. Mandy was talking, like, her problem was the accents.
Yeah.
She's like, if I can't understand them.
Put the subs on. I watch
trust me, she does that with there's like a few British crime shows that she watches, and she puts them on for some of those.
And we're definitely getting more of Ted Lasso. It's a planned 3-season thing. So he's kind of taken that Danny McBride formula.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's how things are like streaming now. I guess the Danny McBride formula is like how things go now. Like, don't really expect. If you really like a show, don't expect more than 3 seasons out of it now.
Yep. Which, maybe that'll be good. Maybe we can stop dragging this shit out. Maybe we can stop having shows that are like, well, the first 3 seasons were good. Fourth and fifth were kind of, and I can't even believe they got to a 7th. They were just off the road by that point.
Yeah, it was Scrubs and The Office, in my opinion, have the same problem, and it's called season 9.
Office should have died. Yeah. Office was a victim of its own success.
Like, season 8 is watchable. James Spader makes it watchable, but season 9 is...
Nope.
Like, my wife's never seen season 9, and I try explaining to her, like, they tried to turn it into fucking, like, a rom-com. They tried to, like, start trying to, like, ooh, are Jim and Pam going to break up? No! That was not what you just did for the last 8 years. What are you doing? Yeah, and into it, and what, BJ Novak left, what's her name left, Mindy Kaling, like, it was like, it should have, when Michael Scott left, that should have been it.
Well,
like,
the other thing about that show, though, is that we've talked about this, the way that show built up, right? You take a core concept that's pretty straightforward. It's an office comedy. It's been done before. But then as they work through those first 6 episodes, they figure out really what their story's about. They didn't start with Pam and Jim, but, there's something there. Mm-hmm. They didn't start with, Creed having a weird past.
Yeah.
But it's, it starts, the character starts developing. Mm-hmm. And it was that natural development of these characters that felt real. I know that guy. I've worked with that guy before, right?
Yeah.
That's what made the show special and kept it going. So if you lose those characters, what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, this was the year I discovered The Office.
You've lost all everything organic that you've built in that show by stripping away its core characters.
Yeah, this is the year I discovered that show, because I told you I'd seen the first 2 seasons and the last 2 seasons a bunch. I'd never seen 3 through 7. And I now understand when people say Michael Scott's the greatest sitcom character ever created. And that show, and I also agree with my wife, after he left, garbage.
Yep.
Like I said, season 8 is watchable, but that's the best compliment I'll give season 8 is, it's watchable.
Michael Scott is the average American. He's the new Homer Simpson.
Yes. Right, so what's number 2? We got on a little office jag.
Number 2, not a whole lot of stuff from Showtime made it on my list, and I wasn't a big Showtime subscriber with the Billions being off the air and Homeland being wrapped up. But The Good Lord Bird was something that I looked forward to every week. But it was also the show that I would save to watch at night. If I had an hour to kill during the day, I wasn't just going to pop on The Good Lord Bird, because I know that there's something in that episode that is just going to devastate me. And it wasn't always like the obvious. Sometimes it was just a still photograph of somebody looking dead into the camera that would set me off. But that is just such a wonderful and moving show. And, it's Ethan Hawke carries that show. He is chewing the scenery. He's like giving it all. Like there's every line that he delivers, it's like there's nothing left inside of him.
Wow.
But he's not the focus. He's not really the story, right? The story is about black people in America, and it's not like a biopic. It's not like they're trying to tell the story of John Brown. They're using John Brown as a device to take you through a world of what was happening to our country at that time and how much of it parallels with what we're still going through. But it's not preachy either. It does it all in a very entertaining and often very moving way.
Yeah, because can we retire being lectured to in 2021?
Yeah. It's very much not that. It's not it's not a Dear White People show.
There are so
and I don't mean that as in the show Dear White People, I mean that as in like the type of show like Dear White People, here's something you need to know.
No, trust me, it's a Law and Order SVU.
Yeah.
Like there are so many times we just look at each other and we're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, thank you, 20-something writers. We understand what you're like.
Right.
I can't believe the actors don't go. I can't believe Ice-T just go, really? All right, cool. Like the whole thing this year is and they're doing it on Chicago PD 2. With the black cop they have on there is the whole crisis of conscience of being a black man and being a cop. Like,
and they get to do the ripped from the headline stories.
Yeah, well, this year, slow down. This year SVU did Amanda Knox. That was the last episode. Pump the brakes on the rip from... Me and Mandy were both like, yeah, this is Amanda Knox. Isn't that from like 10 fucking years ago?
Ripped from the headlines of the paper that you found lining your bird's cage.
Yeah. So what's number one?
So, that was number 2. Number 1, best show, hands down, that I watched last year, came to us from Hulu, and... it's Devs.
What?
Devs.
That was this year?
Devs had all the weirdness and high concept that I just love. It was like mashing up. It had definitely like the weirdness of like a Twin Peaks, the surrealness, right? Also mashed up with the technology and the high concepts about time and space and all that shit. And I don't know. I find it's just a hard show to even describe, really, in a way that would get somebody else to watch it, right? That's the problem that I have describing it, is that it feels like I'm describing a show only I would enjoy. And if I tried to get somebody else to watch it, they'd be like, that sounds good for you.
Like, listen, I would love this show. You should check it out.
Right. But, we saw this had, what's his name from Parks and Rec in it?
Nick Offerman.
Getting
all intense on that ass.
Dude, Nick Offerman he pulled it off. Look, I enjoyed the last season of Fargo, and I thought Chris Rock was good. But there were times when he was a little in over his head. He was playing a heavy. He's playing a mob boss. And didn't quite do it. I didn't think it was bad. Or Tenet was another one. Tenet, that's fucking Denzel's kid up there. And I love watching him in Ballers. I love his character. And he was playing a much different type of character in this movie, and I saw that. So, those are really the only 2 things that I know him from. I know he's been in some other things that I probably should watch. So I at least know that he has some range, that he's not just a one-note actor that's going to play a type. But there were parts in that movie where I'm like, I see that he has talent, but maybe it's just not there yet. Like, he just doesn't bring that gravitas to those scenes that his dad could. And, like, as much as it must be cool being Denzel's kid, it also must suck being Denzel's kid, especially if you're trying to act.
Well, yeah.
Because how do you ever get out from underneath that shadow? But all that being said, Nick Offerman is another one who kind of had to prove himself in this role. We've kind of really only seen one type of character out of him.
Oh, yeah, he can do comedy.
Yeah, and he can do it well. And now he has to do scary, and he does that well. But his character is also not really just scary. He's not evil genius. He's not, I'm going to destroy the world. He may destroy the world, but that's not why he's doing what he's doing.
What you're saying is at no point he is tenting his fingers?
Right. He is a complex, and he's a very complex villain. He's a warm person who has good relationships with somebody, but also decided that, well, in the big picture of what we're working on and what what we could accomplish here, maybe there's some people whose lives don't matter. So they can just go away, like literally just kill them and burn the bodies and destroy the evidence, because that might be bad, and I might admit that that's evil, and I can understand that. but you don't understand what we're doing here. And
good old acceptable death.
And it's a perfect metaphor for our society and the way that technology and commerce affects our society. But it doesn't do it in a heavy-handed way. It's not telling us, nobody comes in a lab coat and says, if only we didn't mess with time. There's no message flying in there. It's a super intelligent, and I don't mean like it's super smart, like you might not get it. It's not that. It's super smart in the way that they're handling the material and presenting everything in really enjoyable ways. They're taking big, crazy science fiction type of concepts and putting them in this kind of tight little thriller. And it really works. And it kind of does what Chris Nolan tries to do in his movies and has never quite succeeded at. This is a TV show in the style very much of Tenet, of Interstellar, of the other one about the dreams. But it's so much more successful because at a certain point in all those Chris Nolan movies, I'm like, okay, all right, dude, just settle down. Just show me the backwards shit again. All right. Like, I get that you're trying to make a point here and that this is something that is quote unquote real, but this is all just bullshit. Like, let's just move on. I get the concept that you're going for. Devs, I'm 100% like, this could totally happen. This is possible. They're talking about, this is science fiction that's predicting the future. These are issues that we are going to have to contend with. Our technology is going to take us to places that allows us to do these things that we probably shouldn't do.
I heard this is the theme song.
the AI bass?
Yeah.
The endless bass solo. Yes. What have we done? We've destroyed the world, and now all music is endless bass solos.
Yeah. What is it, taking a whiz?
Sometimes it just stops and then makes. There's a couple times I was listening to it, and it just makes noise like you're unhooking and replugging in the guitar.
Yeah.
You hear like the ground hum.
You're hearing pickup hum, yeah.
So we should wrap up. But last thing I'm going to say, there were a couple honorable mentions and a couple Razzies on that didn't make the list. The show that gets the Off the Rails award for started out strong and now I don't even know what the show is anymore is Ozark. Third season of that is just fucking ridiculous, and I probably still will watch season 4, but what the fuck are we doing? Worst ending, The Undoing. Really compelling show that has a total wet fart of an ending. Show that everyone saw but me, and I, at this point, will probably just protest it out of pure spite. I May Destroy You. Everyone's like, this is the show that you need to watch. And the more, for every person that tells me that I need to watch this show, I am that much less likely to actually watch it.
What's it about?
I have no idea. I just know that it may destroy me. Biggest disappointment, Upload. That show is dumb as fuck. And it's supposed to be this big concept, like, we're going to upload you to an AI world, and then the afterlife, you can live inside of computers and make the world whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially doing a sci-fi version of The Good Place, only it took out anything worth talking about and just went, what if I could have ice cream all the time? What if I could put my head on the body of a unicorn?
Yeah, I've heard the premise, and it sounded promising, but yeah, you said it was garbage, so I was like,
it's dumb. It's damn near unwatchable.
Oh, look like my wife watched I May Destroy You, looking at it, and yeah. I may have sat through a couple of these. No, thank you.
The show that I watched all of and wish I didn't, Tiger King. I wish I could get those 8 hours back of my life and erase all of that knowledge from my brain. It was all pointless. I watched it so that I know what everyone was talking about, and I realized I shouldn't need to know what everyone was talking about because most people are just talking shit about dumb shit, like shows like Tiger King and people that don't matter and are all fucking each other over. And every last person in that show is a despicable piece of shit human being that's not worth putting a lens on.
It is one of those stories where there's not really a likable person in it.
Yep. And lastly, the I Tried award goes to The Queen's Gambit. Another one of these shows where everyone's like, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. Finally, I'm like, all right, fine, I'll watch it. I can't watch this shit. It's nonsense. You know, this was The Queen's Gambit. Turns out this is a script for a movie that bounced around for the last decade in Hollywood and never got made. And then Netflix looked at it and goes, oh yeah, we can stretch this taffy out into 8 hours.
Hey, the disappointment column, I'm throwing in Space Force.
Oh, yes. I think biggest disappointment, absolutely. Space Force, high promise, great cast.
Yeah.
Shat the bed.
On paper, should have been a great fucking show. Nope. And what are they going to do for season 2? Right? Because
hopefully clean up the shit they left in the bed.
What's that? Well, the joke's leaving office for season 2. So what are you doing for season 2? Yeah.
Get Jim Carrey.
Right. Yeah. He could go on biggest disappointment for his Biden impression.
Yeah, absolutely.
That show.
Yeah, I can do a Biden. Like, what if Biden was Ace Ventura?
Yeah. Well, that show.
Alrighty then.
What has happened to that show? What happened to the cast played the people? Like, it seems that show the last few years is relying on stunt casting. It's like, what, you don't have someone on hand who can play Donald Trump?
You know what happens is they go, well, we need some new blood for this show. I don't want to get these impressionists anymore. That's so old school. Like, we need to be on the cutting edge of comedy. We're not just, doing impressions. And so they hire people who don't do stand-up or improv and don't have impressions. And then they want to do topical stuff. And they go, we don't have anybody that does any impressions anymore. We can't just have, what's her name, do everyone.
Yeah, that's all they got. They got Kate McKinnon. That's it.
Yeah. So who can we farm this out to?
Well, yeah, I mean, they stunt casted Melissa McCarthy for a while. I mean, they dusted off Maya Rudolph. I'm sure she was pretty juiced to see Biden Harris get elected. She's all right. Got a gig for 4 years. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have the cast do it anymore. Oh, it's strange to me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because they're not looking for those good utility players. Like, what's his name that used to do Al Gore and everybody?
Daryl Hammond. The guy who could do
Daryl
everybody.
Hammond, man. You need a fucking Daryl Hammond in your Swiss Army knife and pop him out and just go, hey, we need generic white dude. Here we go.
Yeah, and it seems like the black impressions, they give them all to Keenan.
Yeah,
it's Keenan and Kate McKinnon, and then everybody else. I think I finally saw Pete Davidson in a sketch that wasn't Weekend Update.
But Keenan probably has in his contract, like, if he ever leaves the show, he has to recommend a black person.
Yeah, right.
Keenan, you're the only one I know anymore.
Well, no, they got plenty of black cast members now, but none of them with the impersonation Rolodex, if that's.
Well, does Keenan even do impressions, really? Like have him be Steve Harvey. Okay, put a bright-colored suit on him.
Well, it's like I always thought.
Give him a mustache.
Will Ferrell's Alex Trebek was just Will Ferrell with a mustache.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he sounded and looked nothing like Alex Trebek at all.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
That is it. That is the end. Let's wrap up 2020.
This year can eat a big bag of dicks.
We'll wrap it up. We'll fold it up. We'll light it on fire. We'll bury it in the background.
We'll never speak of it again.
In the backyard. We'll chop it up into individual pieces and bury the parts of its body across the world so they can't recombine and come back to haunt us. we'll put a. What else do they do?
No, you're doing what? You're doing the itchy and scratchy, right?
But they do that in itchy scratch. No, that's like that's what you do with like a vampire or something, you know. So they can't come back to life. You got to chop them up and bury them in separate places.
You know, there was something. Oh, it was the Scratch-tasia. When he kept chopping up.
Oh yeah, and he got smaller and smaller. He just keeps dividing into wizards. Yeah.
And then he tried to turn him into, you know, he chops them all up till it turns into like a steaming pile of fucking mush.
Just cat meat.
Yeah, and then it still ends up turning back into... But yeah, so that's what we can do with 2020.
We got to make sure we destroy its evil black heart.
Yeah.
The source of all my power.
If you don't put the stake directly through 2020's heart, it won't die. So
lock it up.
Yeah. So follow us on Twitter at the Weisman420, at the Weisman Podcast on Instagram, the Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net is the email. Head to ChristopherMedia.net, click on the Amazon banner. That helps us out. Doesn't put any extra money on your bottom line when you're checking out. Click the PayPal banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's if you want to just give us money, or you can subscribe using PayPal as well. Give us like $1 a month. You can do that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker.com, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Wherever there is a podcast, we are there. You know, there's I think podcasts crossed the 1 million mark in 2020. We're there, right next to 1,000,001. Also, drop us a rating and a review wherever you listen to the podcast, even on Facebook. You know, help us out there too. Like us. And stay high.
Happy holidays. No, that doesn't work. That's stupid. Just stay high.
You've been on the road for hours, covered 527 miles, listened to 3 podcasts, had 2 calls with your mom and 1 with your sister, and you're really hungry. And look at that. There's a McDonald's 1 mile up ahead meal. There's a meal for every moment at McDonald's.
Enjoy a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit and bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles. Get 2 of the same or 1 of each for $4. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich is now in the 2 for $5. And that's reason to celebrate. Try the new classic and then take your mouth on a victory lap with the iconic Dave Single, the delicious spicy chicken sandwich, spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, or just get another classic chicken sandwich. Taste greatness today with Wendy's 2 for $5. We got you.
For a limited time, a la carte only. Price and participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.